Hello and welcome to today's class. As part of Save Your Photos Month, we are going to be learning about cloud storage. My name is Shelley Murray and I will be your speaker today. I am a certified photo manager. My company is called Shelley Murray Photo Organizing Services. I do a lot of virtual training, DIY coaching, client coaching, and also concierge services where I work directly with my clients doing photo organizing for them. So anyways, I'm actually really passionate about the topic of cloud storage. And I love to educate people on cloud storage. Oftentimes people don't really get it. They don't really understand what it is and all the implications of it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I've got a power-packed class for you with some great information. And hopefully you'll be able to take what I share and move forward in your own memory keeping journey in a really productive way. All right, so let's just define cloud storage right out of the gates because like I said, a lot of people don't really get what cloud storage is. So I have a nice definition here that we're going to walk through together. Cloud storage is a model of computer data. So that data, you can kind of see it over there in the cloud. It could be videos, music, documents, files, contacts, pictures. You can always share from cloud storage. But the idea is that cloud storage is this computer data storage. This digital data is stored, it's maintained, it's backed up remotely, and it's made available to you over the internet or in the cloud. And that data is actually stored on physical servers. These physical servers live in giant warehouse buildings worldwide. Those servers are maintained by a hosting company. So when you are on your computer or on your phone and you're pulling something from cloud storage, it is on a physical server. It's just being called out from the physical server onto your phone or your computer, and they say it goes through the cloud to get to you. So that's where the name cloud storage came from, and that is really a good, solid definition. All right, so let's talk about some of the benefits of using cloud storage. Cloud storage is really fantastic, and here are some of the reasons why. Number one, you're going to have an off-site backup of all of your files. Before cloud storage, we used to have large data backups in our home that would back up all of the files on our computer in case the computer crashed. And then we moved into having smaller drives, like an external hard drive that we still use now. They are getting smaller and smaller, which is great. But keep in mind, those external hard drives can crash just like computers can crash. So cloud storage, you're not storing it on a physical item in your home. You're just having an off-site backup of your files. And another benefit is it's easy to access from any web browser. So whether you're on your computer or on your phone or your tablet, your mobile device, anything that you're on, you can access your cloud storage from anywhere. And like I said, even on mobile apps. So most of these cloud storages have apps as well. So you just click the app and there's all your files. So you don't even have to go anywhere on the internet. They're right there in your app. And they really always have some really easy, simple sharing functionality. So it's very easy to share something when on the go. You're not having to be home pulling up a file on your computer like the old days and then sending it to someone. You can just pull it up wherever you are and then simply share that with someone else. Like I mentioned a minute ago, it's free from computer crashes. So again, it's not on an external hard drive or on your computer. It's safe from computers crashing. It's safe from a hard drive failing. Remember, hard drives fail and crash just like computers do. They're not good long-term solutions. Also, this is free from many disasters like floods or fires. Hard drives and computers, they're all exposed to any type of a disaster that could happen in your home. But with the cloud storage, everything is safe and backed up redundantly on those physical servers that we talked about just a minute ago. Okay, so there are some things to consider about cloud storage. So some considerations are who owns the digital rights to your photos. So that's something we're going to talk about in a little bit, but digital rights is a huge topic these days. So it's something that you need to look at and think about when you're uploading your things to a cloud storage, am I giving them the rights to my photos? Do they now own my files, or do I still own my files? Something to think about. Next one is, do they reduce the resolution of my photos? So there are some places when you upload your photos there, they will, first thing they'll do is reduce the resolution of your photos to make them a tiny file. So an example of that is Facebook. Now, I'm not even really considering Facebook in this presentation at all, because that is not a place to store your photos. It's not cloud storage, it's social sharing. Super fun, social sharing, but it's definitely not a place to keep your photos and think that that's the best home for them. Because one of the major reasons is because as soon as you upload a photo to Facebook or any of these other social sites, they reduce the resolution to the photo to a facsimile size. About that big, really. You can't even really see my fingers, but very small. You can't do anything with that. It looks great on the screen, great to share, but you can't ever have a large file coming from it that you would maybe print or something like that. So that's another consideration. What about, can I download my photos? Many stories that I have heard where people have uploaded their photos somewhere. I'll just mention one story that comes up to my mind at Walgreens. And then they realize, oh, I have all my photos here, but they could only download them one at a time. Or maybe they weren't even allowed to download them. So that can be an issue too. Shutterfly is the same way. It's very, very, very difficult to get your photos back from there and other places too. What if I miss a few payments? Okay, so if you're storing your things in a program that you're paying for monthly or yearly, and you miss the payment, what happens to my things? That's something that would be important for you to check the terms of service on. We'll talk about that in more detail. What happens if I'm not active on the site? So a lot of these e-commerce sites, if you're not active there, they're going to delete your things. I mean, I can think of several of them that I've used myself in the past, and when I'm not active on the site, I get an email saying, oh, we're going to shut your account down if you don't purchase something. That's called e-commerce. So that's, I'm referring to kind of like the Snapfishes, the Shutterflies. I can't remember another one recently where I received an email like that. So these are not like cloud storage sites. These are sites where you are buying something. You're uploading maybe a photo to print something, and if you don't upload more, then they're going to shut the account down. So that's something to consider as well. Okay, next thing is, what will my photos be there tomorrow? So that's something really important to think about. We'll talk about that too. What promises do you have with cloud storage? If you're backing up in the cloud, will your photos definitely be there tomorrow? And where else are you backing up? What happens to my photos when I die? Okay, so that's something to think about. We're going to talk about that too. And is this service temporary or permanent? And that's a big question. Is this a temporary storage, or is this a permanent storage? Is this something that's going to go away, or will it stay? And we'll talk about that too. Okay, so there are 3 cloud storage service models. And here is just a smattering of different cloud storages that you can see here. Some of these, I'm sure you probably recognize all of these, but these are some of the ones that we're going to be referring to. So there's 3 cloud storage service models. The first one is free. So some of these that you see here are free. The next one is rented, or you're making monthly or yearly payments to keep your things there. And then the third one is owned, with a one-time payment where you own the storage and you don't pay again. So we're going to look at these 3 models of cloud storage. The first we're going to look at is free. And there are some considerations to free cloud storage. First consideration is, you know, well, they say nothing is ever free, right? So there's no free lunch, and it couldn't be truer. I'm just going to take one real quickly here and talk about Google. Google makes no bones about it. It is free, and it is some of the best software because they are so rich. They have so much money. Why? Because when you use their services, they take the digital rights of everything that you put up there, whether it is photos or it is your Gmails that you're sending. You just take a look at their terms of service, and we'll look at detail of that in a minute. They're analyzing your photos, they're analyzing your emails, they're creating a profile about you, and then they're selling that information to third parties. So that's why Google is so powerful and successful and has such amazing software because they have so much money, because they're giving you usage of everything for free, but you're giving them the most valuable information. And that is your profile, your likes, your desires, your wants, the demographics of your family and where you live, and if you have a dog, and if you have children, and what kind of sports you like. All of those things are going to be put together in a profile to be sold to companies for advertising purposes. So that's actually called data mining. And basically, if you're looking at all the terms of service, anything that's free out there online is going to be collecting your data. Okay, they're going to be collecting information about you and selling that to third parties. So that's how they're making their money. So nothing is free. Keep that in mind. Free scares me, actually. Also, with free cloud storage, there's no promises. They say definitely don't make this your backup. Have other backups, because there's no promises that your things are going to be there tomorrow. And I think we probably have all heard horror stories where people have thought their precious photos or important documents were somewhere, and then they were taken down and they were not there. So that's when you're looking at free. I've heard a lot of sad people that lost things in Facebook and thinking that it was going to be there 5 years later, but that's not necessarily the case. So anything that's free, there's not going to be any promises. Definitely have another backup somewhere else. Also, these free places really lack a really good structure or organization of your family photos. So most of these free places are just like places to keep things and be able to access them, but really lacking organization and storytelling and identification of your photos. We talked about e-commerce a minute ago. A lot of these places, you've got to be active in purchasing things. If you're not buying things regularly, that's the shutterflies and the snapfishes, then they're going to shut your account down because they want you just to stay active and continue buying from them. Okay, so now let's talk about renting cloud storage. This is if there's going to be a monthly payment or yearly payment. This is just a quick snapshot online of some of the different places that you could pay monthly or yearly for this cloud storage service. And some things there to think about is that it's temporary. It's only going to last as long as you're making the payments, right? So it is a great short-term solution. You've got to pay that money each month, and if you don't, then they will shut the account down. You can look in their terms of service. It'll be a couple of months, I think, that they give you, but that would be the end of your account when the payments stop coming in. And something to think about is that if that's the case, these things do not outlive you. So we've got to have some kind of a plan in place for if something happens to us, how our files will continue on, especially our important photos and videos of our family, how they're going to continue on into future generations and for our children and for their children. And this system of having to have a monthly payment is not a great plan because those payments are not going to continue on past your death. Also, many and most of these are not transferable upon your death. The big one we'll talk about in a minute is iCloud. I work with a lot of people who have iCloud, and I love Apple and I love iCloud. I use it, but it's not transferable upon your death. So iCloud, temporary as well. And then none of these are structured for your family photo management. Just kind of like I said before in the free, there's not a way to keep these organized, identified, telling the stories, putting information with your photos, adding into the metadata. It really is just a file storage system. So you're just kind of putting your files out there backed up, and you can pull the files in folders whenever you want. But today we're talking about family memories. We're talking about photos and videos and those important things. So the last category is owning cloud storage, permanent cloud storage. And this one is the one I get really excited about. This is the one that I use with my clients. And I'm going to talk about some of the considerations of owning cloud storage because it's a little bit different. It is you purchase it, you own it, and then you hand it down as an asset to your children and to your grandchildren. And this company Forever has really thought of each thing necessary for a family of wanting to keep their photos and their videos and their memories organized together in one place to preserve. So let's look at some of those considerations. First of all, it is a one-time payment, so you purchase and own your storage. So you don't ever pay again. There's no service fees or charges. So you just own it like it's an asset. And you own that storage account. The way that this works is really interesting. So when you purchase it, the majority of the money goes into a guarantee fund, and that fund is what continues to pay for the photos and the videos to be on their site over time. So it is like an endowment structure and an endowment policy. If you're familiar with endowment economics, you think about large companies or institutions like Harvard or MetLife. You know, those are all set up through an endowment, and that's the plan and the mission of this company forever, is the more people that join in, the longer it's going to last. But they do guarantee, just doing the math, that this will last 100 years past their death, and the idea is that it's going to last much longer than that as well. So you can kind of consider it. I consider it as insurance for all my memories, and that's kind of how I explain that to my clients as well. Another benefit that I think and a consideration that's fantastic with this company is they will migrate. They'll do data migration. That's part of what you're paying for. So, you know, when we go to the next file format, everything in a Forever Storage account will move to the next file format. It won't be your responsibility to update your JPEG photos to the next file format or your PDF files to the next file format for documents. Everything will automatically shift over to new file formats so they can still be seen in the future with the new formats coming up. The other thing that's important here is when you own this storage, you're also retaining your digital rights. So that's a big deal to me and to my clients, is they do not want their photos given away to Google to be analyzed. And so with this company, you retain your digital rights. You own all the content, everything in your storage account. Forever does not own anything. They're just giving you that hosting ability. Okay, so here's this. This is really where my business comes in, where I help my clients. We get them started in a Forever Storage account, and then I help them tell their stories. And this is where the magic happens. This is where my passion is, because to me, photos are not just, you know, what's more important than the photo is the story that goes along with the photo. The story is just as important as the photo, if not more important. So when you get your photos and your videos in your Forever Storage account, then you can start adding the story. And you can add, in your account, you can put photos, videos, audio files, and documents. And then when it's in there, I teach my clients and I help them either do it on their own or I do it for them, add naming, tagging. So you can go back and find the photos later. Maybe you're tagging based upon the person's name or the location that they're living in or where they're from or where you vacation, the holidays, tagging on whatever you want to tag on to be able to go back and find that photo later. Adding the dates. So for a lot of this outdated media that we've digitized and put into a Forever Storage account, we've got to go in and change the date if you know the date. So this photo was from 1895. And that information is so important. And now that I've added it here, it's sealed into the metadata of that photo. And whatever I do with that photo, if I share it with someone, if I download it, that information, the story, the date, the tagging, the information, the description, will go along with that photo and live with that photo permanently. So also you can add descriptions. I call that the story. Okay, this is another nice one, is you upload and download in the full resolution. So we're not losing any resolution when we upload to Forever Storage. And there are preservation settings here, so you determine what happens to your things upon your passing in the future. And then there's also, I also set up for my clients this great family sharing plan so that your family members can come in and access any of that albums that you've created that you've marked for friends and family to see. Or you can mark albums publicly, which I work with a lot of historical societies, and we're creating public albums to share with the community things about the history. But then you can also have private albums as well that no one sees except for you or your account manager, should you choose to have an account manager. So there's some really great features that they've thought about when building this specifically for families, photos, videos, audio files, and documents. And it actually is an entire memory keeping platform. So not only do we have the whole photo management that I get really excited about that I was just sharing, but Forever also has a whole media conversion center. So I work with clients helping them gather all their outdated media, shipping it to Forever. They have a great system with a box where they ship it to you and you put it in, and it's very safe and highest quality scanning. And then it uploads into the Forever storage account. And then from there, you do the photo management, you organize it like I was showing you, but then they also have a whole print shop so you can print great things like photo books and cards and canvases, metal panels, whatever it may be. So I love getting my clients here and helping them. I do free training with them, helping them use this system, helping with the photo management, do the media conversion, and then start printing and showing love through their photos. That's what I like to say. So let's take a turn back and look at terms of service, because that's what's really most important. I've spent a lot of time reading the terms of service of these different companies, and so I wanted to show you that and kind of point you a little bit to what the actual terms say about these different choices that you have for cloud storage. So the quote I put here is, it is important to read the fine print when determining the best place to keep your precious family photos and videos. Okay, so most people that I work with use the iCloud. That is really where most of their things are. So I spend a lot of time with those people, and I tell you, I actually really love the iCloud. I use it myself, but it's definitely not the permanent home that I want to use for all my photos and my videos. And why? Here are a couple of reasons why. It's not transferable upon your death. And then when they do receive a death certificate, your account may be terminated and all the content deleted from your account. So that really scares me. I want my photos to be in a place that can be long lasting for future generations. Also, I've had this happen to a client before. If they are unable to successfully charge your credit card for any of the fees due, they have the right to shut your account down. That's exactly, terminate your account. That's exactly what happened to a client. She was using the iCloud, and her iCloud was associated with an email address that she never checks. And next thing you know, they shut her account down, and all of her photos were gone. And she finally got in touch with Apple, finally talked to someone, and what had happened was her credit card the number had changed because it was a corrupt credit card. So they changed the credit card number. She didn't think about it, but it was associated to her Apple iCloud. Apple had given her 6 months and sent many emails saying, we're going to shut your account down if you don't update your credit card information. So they did the right thing, but it was going to an email that she never checked. And that was the problem. So her account was shut down and she lost all of her photos. And that gives me chills to think about that because it is so sad. But anyways, that can happen. It's very real. Also, the last piece here with regards to Apple is they say have an alternative backup for everything as well, because we're not subject to any loss or any corruption that might happen in your iCloud. And that is obvious to have a second backup as well, but it is definitely in their terms of service. The next one is Google. We talked a lot about that. That's another one that we all use, right? I mean, we all have Gmail addresses out there. So it's just right there in the terms of service. They don't make any bones about it. It's their whole business plan is that they collect the information that you upload or that you send on an email, and they analyze it and they scan it and they create a profile about you. It's all in here. And they have the ability to reproduce and distribute and communicate anything about your content and make it public. Anyway, so that's just another, and then Google does also say that if you're inactive, they could delete your photos or your YouTube or whatever. They could delete your account. I've not had that happen to me, and I have been inactive. So, but it is in their terms of service. It could be possible that they will do that. And you know what? At some point, there's going to be too many accounts that aren't being used. So, of course, as a business decision, they'll definitely shut those down. I can understand that. All right. So I want to turn back to the Forever terms of service because I want to kind of look at all of them. But it's interesting when you read this terms of service. This is really pro the storage owner. as opposed to saying what we're not going to do. It's like what we are going to do for you, and that feels really good. So this company is really about servicing, serving, and providing for the storage owner. So their terms of service says that you retain full ownership of all the intellectual property rights of all the content that's in your storage account, so you own it. They guarantee they're going to preserve it, but enable you to control how it's going to be preserved for your lifetime and then again after your death. And they can guarantee, like I mentioned, that will be preserved for you 100 years after your death, but the goal is that it would be many years beyond that. Okay, so this is basically just like in summary, when I'm working with clients, we talk about this, we talk about cloud storage, we talk about where they want their cloud storage, and all of my clients use Forever. That is where everybody wants to go, and so it really has become like part of my business, and I just basically help people do what you see here, get all of their things into their Forever storage account wherever they might live. I teach them and train them and help them to do that, to bring everything in together into one permanent private digital home so they can access it from anywhere, they can share it with their family members, and then also with future generations. So I have an offer for you. I'd love to connect with you and give you a free storage account to try out and see what you think. I'll show you how to get a free 2 GB Forever storage account, to get a $15 welcome coupon, and 2 free web training classes with me. I'd love to connect with you and to help you with that. So you can sign up here at this bit.ly address, and this will connect your Forever storage account to me as your person to help you, as your Forever ambassador to help you. I will say that Forever has an awesome ambassador program. There's a lot of Forever ambassadors out there. There's also a lot of photo managers out there, photo organizers out there who are fantastic. You're probably going to be meeting them throughout the Save Your Photos Month trainings. And so I encourage you just to connect with whoever you're already connected with. Stay with that person. If you already have a photo organizer, ask them about Forever. If you already have a Forever ambassador, lean into them. They're well-trained to help you in this whole entire process. But if you haven't connected with anyone and you don't know anyone, I would love to be that person for you and to help you get your photos and videos in shape in a Forever storage account. So if you want to connect with me, go to that bit.ly. So it's just put in your web browser, bit.ly/Forever setup, and that'll give you that free account with a welcome coupon and 2 free classes with me, and we'll connect. And I've got a website, shelleymurray.com, that I always welcome you to go to check out and connect with me. I'd love to meet you. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today in this class. And if you need help organizing your photos, find a pro at thephotomanagers.com or join the private Facebook group, getting advice from photo organizing pros. And there's the address there too. So thank you for being a part of Save Your Photos Month. I hope you learned a lot in this class. I enjoyed being with you. Have a great day.